Your Cincinnati Bengals are now 8-4 after beating the Kansas City Chiefs for the third time in 11 months. I don't think I would have ever thought we'd say that. I can go back to 1 year ago. Because 1 year ago, even at this point, beginning of December, we weren't 100% sure of the potential of this team. We thought playoff team for sure, maybe win the division. Remember, it wasn't until week 17 that they beat the Chiefs last year to clinch the division. I think a lot of people going into that game, if I remember correctly, were like, yeah, if you lose to the Chiefs, you beat the Browns the final week and you win the division. Ended up winning it on the spot that week against KC, beating them again in the playoffs in the AFC Championship game. And it felt like the Chiefs really wanted this one bad. It didn't matter. I mean, like, this is a game that where you as Bengals fans, I think we're like, we know this team is good, or we see the progression of them being good, and we can see where they can be or what the potential is. I think sometimes the national media doesn't really see it as fast as we do or understand it the same way, and that's okay. Maybe we're overinflating this team, but I think when you have this win again, it opens up everyone's eyes. I've been spending, the last 2 days watching national media, reading up on it, listening to podcasts of what these other people think, and it's eye-opening, I think, for them to see this game and see them really, they could have dominated, I think, thoroughly if it wasn't for the drop ball and, maybe not getting that touchdown or a field goal from inside the 5 on the Trent Taylor jet sweep play. You guys know me, I don't got a problem with going for it there. You're going against the Chiefs, so every point's probably going to count there, and especially touchdowns. Point is, man, the team is good again. And like this game, even though we probably overinflate or think highly of this team, even this game for us probably goes, man, they could win it. They could win the Super Bowl this year. And I almost said again, but they could go to the Super Bowl again. This team is better. I think we've made this point. This team is better than last year's team. They're deeper, they're stronger on all the intermediate stuff, they're stronger on all the little things. It's not just chunk plays and go balls and explosive plays, which are great and fun and almost won them. And damn it, a go ball almost won the game against the Rams too if they had another second. But this team right now beats the Rams, that last year's Rams team. This team is better than that. And because they can run the ball, because they can pass protect a little bit better, because I actually think Burrow's playing better than he was last year, and he won comeback player of the year last year. Burrow, though, man, so good lately. I mean, the last month has been, yep, here he is. Let's start the MVP talk. Let's start putting him up there with everyone else. Yeah, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but everything else is A+ right now. It's the same progression as last year. It's so weird. This season is so similar to last year. Go back and watch the Week 2 review of Burrow in the pocket where I spent a segment there, and I'm just, I was disappointed. I thought they would pick up where they left off last year, and instead it's following the same exact progression of last year where it was, okay, he doesn't look right, so he doesn't look healthy. And then it was, okay, he's processing a little bit too slowly, and then he's processing a little too quickly, and then now he's processing perfectly. Now his pocket movement's perfect. The next thing that's going to be next is now he's creating plays off script like an elite quarterback, like the rare quarterback, I should say, like the rare quarterbacks. And I think that's that's what he did in the final 4 games last year. If he does that now, it's like the exact same arc. And if that team with that quarterback, if he gets there, gets in the playoffs, they can beat anyone, AFC or NFC. But the pocket was the next step that I wanted to see with Burrow, and his pocket management and pocket ability. If you think the offensive line's been much better, I think a lot of it is because of this. The past few weeks, I've just been completely enamored with Joe Burrow in the pocket, and just reminded me so much of last year and similar progression of where he was at this point. And I remember these games against like the Raiders and 49ers where it was like, yeah, he's starting to have that LSU pocket presence again. And if he does, it makes the offensive line look so much better than it actually is. And I think they're playing well. But I think when Burrow has these little micro adjustments, little easy movements that don't turn him into a runner. He always remains a passer. His eyes are always up right now. The ball's always protected. He's moving within the pocket, navigating within the pocket, runs when he has to, and he can actually move again. It's, it just creates such a more robust and just a fuller offense completely, a passing offense. Because a lot of these plays, I think, in the first couple weeks, and I think I pointed them out after the Cowboys game. Yeah, it was the Cowboys game. We were talking about his pocket presence and his speeding up his mental processing was slower than normal, and he was turning into a runner too much, dropping his eyes, slumping his shoulders, and taking off when it really wasn't there. And now he's just sliding in the pocket. He's going off one foot if he has to, and just sidearm delivery out to Smadre Perine, let him pick up the first down. And I think part of that is he's processing an elite level, and we knew that would happen. But again, the next step of that is, okay, now managing the pocket and getting your internal clock and your timing to be correct, and feeling the guys behind you when the pressure's coming and sliding away from them, and without needing to look at them. So, when he hits this part of his game, and it seems like he's following the same progression as last year, that's the part that keeps striking me. When he gets this part in his game now, it's like, man, this is elite Joe Burrow. This is when the offense really starts to hit its stride, and it makes him extremely dangerous, because you're going to go against good teams and good defensive coordinators that are probably going to take that first read away, that are going to blitz from different spots, that are going to send pressure from different spots. But if Burrow can handle it like this, sky's the limit. This Bengals offense still without Joe Mixon, but Perine's been playing so well. The offensive line taking those steps. I think Jonah Williams has been playing better. I think Cordell Volson's been playing better. I think Karras has been steady the whole year. Kappa's been steady. I think he had better games earlier in the year. Collins slowly, if there's an arc like I did for the quarterbacks, it's like this for Collins. We're getting there. It's serviceable. You'll take it. Then the weapons are back. Jamar Chase was back. T. Higgins has been playing out of his mind. Finally got to see Tyler Boyd. Things opened up a little bit for him. I actually think he could have had a bigger game. Watching the tape, there was a few that he was open on. But then Hayden Hurst, right? He's had his big moments, and then he goes out after the first or second drive. I think it was the second drive. He may have got hurt the first drive, and then they had that long, deep play off play action to him, and it didn't work. But that brings me to this next part here is you're going to need these guys to step up. And I think on defense, we'll get to it, but Joseph Ossai's sack, right? Cam Taylor-Britt stepping up. I think we've seen defensive tackles like Jay Tufele stepping up. On offense, Chris Evans gets his first touchdown. I was ready to put a fork in him. I even said that on Twitter. Put a fork in him. That the experiment was over. That I didn't believe he would get to ever be a part of this offense. After seeing Travion Williams just take that number 2 spot without Mixon being in there, Perine 1. Williams 2. And then even Williams is taking over the kick returner too. Chris Evans isn't even getting that. He's getting like 2 snaps a game, but he still found a way to contribute in his 2 snaps. But then Trent Taylor and Trenton Irwin, guys just keep stepping up for this team. It's a mark of a good team. I believe that because I remember so many years like the Steelers and Ravens, and they'd beat you with, I'm like, who is this guy? This is a 6th-round pick, the undrafted guy. Who are they? Now the Bengals are doing that to the Chiefs. And one guy I don't want to forget, because I've been lower on this tight end unit for a while, and even Hayden Hurst, I'm like, he's okay. He's solid. I know a lot of people love him. I love his personality, character, and toughness, because I think he'll run anybody over. I don't think he's a tremendous route runner, and he's not a really good blocker. If it was me, I'm sounding like Justin Reed over here knocking him down. Don't want to do that. I would extend Hayden Hurst in the offseason and then still draft a guy. But the depth was always an issue for me. I thought you could get a number 2 or number 3 tight end, better guys in here. But then Hayden Hurst dropped in the first drive or 2, whatever it was, doesn't matter. And Mitch Wilcox had to step up. So I've got 2 Bengals, breaking down a Bengals play, 2 plays by the Bengals, however you want to do that. But here they are, and featuring Mitchell Wilcox. We've got 2 plays from the opening drive, back-to-back plays, actually, and I want to focus on the secondary for the Chiefs. They're really trying to sell that it's going to be a single high safety look with a potential blitz from both the slot guys. The Bengals aren't buying it at all. And you want to run against cover 2. You don't want to run when 8 guys are in the box. So, the Bengals instantly go to the run here because I think they knew the Chiefs are going to drop back and put everyone into coverage again. And that we've said this. We've talked about this. You want to run against cover 2.
You want to pass against when they put an extra guy in the box and they bring that safety down. But focus on Mitch Wilcox. And this is a wham trap block on Chris Jones here. They're going to let him go. Everyone's going to block upfield, and Wilcox is going to come across and block. And you see this the lane right there. Samaje Perine's going to make Justin Reed miss. And yeah, it's only a 5 yard or so, maybe 6 even on this play. Pick up. But it's a great job by Wilcox. It's a good call, and it's a good time to do it. And again, next play now. You're looking like a middle field close, deep single high safety. We got a vertical route to Jamar Chase on the left side. I think that's where Joe Burrow initially looks. But the Chiefs are going to drop into a cover two. So when they do, Burrow's got to come back to the middle of the field and come back to his probably third read on this. And I think this is a really good route by Mitch Wilcox from the right side. Remember, Hayden Hurst had to go leave the game, so the Bengals had to get the backup in there. And he does a good job dipping under this arm, not getting rerouted as he comes around and sees what he has to do. It's zone. Find a soft spot between that zone, sit in it, and make a play. And good job by Burrow in the pocket. Good job by Hayden Hurst. Tyler Higbee. T. Higgins. Who was it?
So, contributions again for these depth guys, for these guys that the other team definitely doesn't know who they are. Mitch Wilcox is one of those. So, a couple good plays there. I like the design on offense. I like the timing of when they're calling these things. Again, we've got to give credit to Brian Callahan and Zach Taylor. If you're still on the fire Zach Taylor, if your Twitter handle is fire Zach Taylor, it might as well just read I'm an idiot, because you've got to be able to change your opinion with evidence presented in front of you. And the Bengals are one of the best offenses in the league, running and passing. And they look like they can win it in any type of way. Like if they've got to run the ball, if they got to run power, if they got to run zone, if they got to run a play action offense, they're getting splash plays out of those now. If they got to be a vertical passing offense, they'll do that. If they got to dink and dunk it all day, they will do it. And now they're mixing everything together. And now it's starting to mesh and not all starting to look the same. It's confusing for defenses. This is a good offense and a well-called offense and well-designed offense. They deserve the credit for it. Doesn't mean you couldn't have criticized them the past few years, because there were moments to criticize. But change your stance as the evidence changes. That's all I'm saying. Can't leave the defense out of it. Again, they find a way to shut down Mahomes in the fourth quarter. Huge. Lou Anarumo, not enough credit goes there. You're starting to hear his name more and more around the league, and that's good and bad. I mean, good for him. Bad that the Bengals, may lose him in the offseason if he gets a head coaching offer out there somewhere. But just a good job. I mean, these corners haven't been exposed. That's some of Anarumo. That's some of the great safety play the Bengals have. Like Cam Taylor-Britt, you get a second-round rookie in there. You lose Chidobe Awuzie. You got Eli Apple, and you're like, it's going to be a weak link for this defense. And it really hasn't. We haven't noticed the corners at all. And then you get contributions from, again, I think the pass rush is mediocre at best. Trey Hendrickson is going to beat you up if you let him. Sam Hubbard's having a career year. But then we wondered, where's Joseph Osai? Where is he? So here's a mix of the safety play helping out, Lou Anarumo making a great call, something he's done now in 3 games against Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, and then a contribution from Joseph Osai on the defensive play of the day.
First, I want to focus on Jesse Bates. He's the guy with the white cleats, white long sleeves, and gloves. But his action and the way he's standing over the slot guy and pointing to the rest of his defense backs looks like he's pointing out who's taking who and playing man coverage. But really, he's going to play deep half. And the Bengals are showing blitz on the other side. So it looks to me like you've got a single high free safety, middle of the field closed. You got a blitz coming, and it's man across the board. Bengals are not going to do that. At the snap, they're going to drop 8. And it's a cover 2 with Logan Wilson running down the middle. This is going to mess up the Chiefs just a little bit. He's got to hold it just a little. You see the protection up front is a little confused just for about a half second at the snap. And what it does is when the running back comes up and goes to pass protect. And I do think someone may have been open here if you watch Kelce, and I can't tell the receiver is on the left side when they come across. It might have been Juju. You may have had a guy, but watch Joseph Osai and the way he dives inside and Orlando Brown can't handle it. You never get to get over the middle of the field if you're Mahomes, and it's a nice hustle sack to close out the game. Great job.
So that's that for the Bengals Chiefs week. What week was that? 13? Oh my God. It's going by fast. And now you're confident in like the games against the Browns coming up. You like already the Bengals are like Browns coming up. And you can see I'm thinking of the Zach Taylor post-game locker room speech where he's like, Browns week, Cleveland coming to town. You see like all of them just, their eyes just get a little beady a little bit, like laser focus happens instantly. Reports from the locker room on Monday where Taylor gave them Victory Monday off, and yet they're all in there to work out and watch film with Burrow and, do their thing. They know what it requires. They know what it takes, and I think it feels like they're going to be into it. So the Browns game, but then the Patriots game, the Bucs game, they're going to be favored by 6 points in some of these, 7 maybe. We're expecting them to run the table at this point until they get to that Bills Monday night game, and I wonder what the spread for something like that will be. Bengals at home, Monday night. Is it going to be 3? The Bills, if you look at their spread throughout the year, they're always heavy favored. Vegas loves Buffalo. The analytics loves Buffalo. Is it going to be a 3-point towards the Bills for that game? I could see it. And you make the Bengals an underdog, man, and it's going to fire them up. I'm already looking forward to that one. Don't want to look too far. Then you got the Ravens, which I was looking wild card the entire time, right? I'm like, the Ravens' cake schedule. The Bengals have a tougher schedule. You're going to have to lose 2 or 3 games if you're Baltimore for the Bengals to jump them because a tie is not going to do it. And now Lamar Jackson's down, and it might be week to week, they call it. But even if it's 2-3 weeks, if it's a knee sprain, 4 weeks maybe at most, who knows? What is he going to be afterwards? Is he going to have to be tight? Is he going to have to wear a brace? Is he not going to be as explosive and athletic? It gives you a chance. You could win the division now. I'm now adjusting. Not only the division, but if you run the table the way you probably can, that first seed is not out of the question. Man, what a time. What a great time to be a Bengals fan. Let's leave it as that. Cincinnati Bengals Talk, YouTube network, Bengals on the Brain. I'm Joe Goodberry. Actually, one other point. If you're not following on Twitter, at Joe Goodberry, I've had a lot of people DM me recently on Twitter saying, hey, I just got on Twitter, saw your show on YouTube, started following. A lot of the cutting room floor stuff is getting posted on Twitter. Like, I've already put stuff about Jonah Williams and a lot of his clips and highlights. Cordell Volson clips in there. Some plays where Joe Burrow has missed and Jamar Chase was open. I'm going to have a lot of defensive stuff because I just had the one play from here. Just not enough time. There's probably going to be a lot of clips on Twitter posted on the defensive side. If you're not following me on Twitter, if you don't have a Twitter, I'm sorry, but I can't make this an hour-long show. We just don't have the resources and time for that. But Twitter is where it's at. Create an account. Follow me at Joe Goodberry, just the way it sounds. And we'll see you next week. Browns week. Let's do it. Finally, please. God.